Here is the full tutorial on how I built my Iron Man zombie helmet. First, I sanded the raw 3D print and sprayed filler primer over it. Then I sprayed a gloss black primer, which makes the gold look darker once weathered. This is also a good base for the chrome paint that I will be using. To mask out the areas that aren't gold, I used blue painter's tape. While this is fine, it can damage the paint if not completely cured. For the rest of the video, you will see me using frog tape, which is far better at keeping the paint intact. Here you can see me using frog tape and plastic wrap to mask out areas. Plastic wrap helps save tape because frog tape is pretty expensive at $10 per roll. After masking off the gold, I sprayed Duralumin Chrome from the Digital Armory. This chrome has an amazing shine that makes metal cast paints look phenomenal. Next I used the bone white paint from my local paint store to paint the skull. I ended up doing 3 coats of this paint, but I only showed 1. If you're new to painting, I would recommend picking up an airbrush kit. Airbrushes help you paint hard to reach areas and create less dripping than spray cans if used correctly. This results in a better surface finish and a better looking end product overall. I decided to paint the teeth in a standard white paint and gradually mix in the bone white paint from the skull to give the teeth and lower skull some depth and contrast. This keeps the skull from being a single color, which will make it look flat and boring. To create more depth, I'll be weathering it and hand brushing other paints, which will be shown later in the video. Now I'll be showing you how to take the skull from looking like this to this by using hand brushing and weathering techniques. First I used blood red paint around the teeth to add character to the helmet. This makes the zombie look more dark and menacing. Next I used the standard black paint in between the helmet and the skull. I also dabbed black paint into the deeper grooves of both the skull and the helmet to give it some more depth. To make the transition between the helmet and the skull more seamless, I used the bronze paint and mixed it with some black to give it less shine. This makes the skull seem more like it's part of the helmet instead of having a cut between the helmet and the skull. I then mixed water and black paint in a cup to wash the skull. I let the paint seep into the crevices by gravity, which gave the skull more natural shadows and weathering. To get rid of the excess water and paint, I used a paper towel and dabbed up the areas. To add more depth to the gunmetal parts, I used a dark gunmetal paint and applied it in the crevices. Then I added some more blood to the teeth and finished the skull. I decided to try to use soy sauce to weather it, but there wasn't that much of a difference. I decided to add some more black paint between the skull and the helmet to make the transition more natural. And with that, the skull was finished. Now it's time to go back and look at how I made the helmet. I used metal cast red on top of the chrome. This stuff drips very easily, so it's important to do multiple light coats. I decided to leave this part in to show you just how satisfying it is to take off the tape. Now it's time to make the helmet look more realistic. I used the same dark gunmetal from before to add more depth to the gunmetal parts of the helmet. I then mixed bronze and black paint to make a transition between the gold and the gunmetal and the gold and the red. Once again, this makes the transition look more natural in the helmet. I used a paper towel to make the bronze more spread out and realistic. I then went over the cheeks with the darker gunmetal to give it more depth. tried using soy sauce again on the bread, but once again, there was some difference. I added blood red to the teeth to complete the painting process. Now it's time to install the LED eye. For this, I used a heat gun, thick leather gloves to prevent myself from getting burned, and of course, the LED eyes themselves. These LED eyes are pretty neat because you can see out of them once you take the film off. They're also pretty cheap and are only about $10 on AliExpress. I kept the heat gun on the LED eye and applied pressure at the same spot to get the eye to bend. Now I need to add straps to the helmet to attach the faceplate to the dome. I used the same two-part adhesive from before and took my time to get the helmet and faceplate lined up. Unfortunately, I did not line it up correctly, so I ended up using another strap to line it up. For reference, this is what the faceplate looked like before. After it was correctly lined up, this is what the final product looked like. Overall, I'm happy with how this project turned out, and if you do end up making this, please tag me on Instagram at SnapLabs. Thank you for watching. I would also like to add that I do custom 3D prints on demand. If you have anything that you need printed, please email me at sales@snaplabs.co.